Now, before I start, if you cannot read my beautiful handwriting, then you can go look at the mock draft in the description down below. Anyway, guys, let's get started. And for any of those returning viewers from mock draft 1.0, the first 5 picks are actually the exact same right here. So to get the new guys kind of acclimated. So with the first overall pick, the Cleveland Browns will select Sam Darnold because he's the safest quarterback to pick in this draft. And I don't think the Cleveland Browns want to take any chances in which that they could definitely just bury themselves once again or make a very regrettable decision like passing on Carson Wentz. Then I got the New York Giants selecting defensive end Bradley Chubb. Now, I know a lot of people think the Giants are going to select Saquon Barkley, but the Giants value pass rushers over running backs based off of recent history. So I got the Giants selecting Chubb right there. Then at the third pick, the New York Jets will select quarterback Baker Mayfield. I think Mayfield kind of fits their mold, what they want to do. Even though Josh Rosen has the intelligence, I think they rather prefer a Mayfield guy he's much more of a playmaker. He's definitely far more passionate about the game than Rosen. Then at number 4, I got the Browns selecting Saquon Barkley. So obviously, guys, even though I didn't have the Giants selecting him, I wasn't going to make him fall too down the line. And I definitely think that he would be a nice fit for the Browns, being a nice home run style right back. Then is my first projected trade of the draft. The Broncos will trade down for the Bills 2 first-round picks, and they'll select quarterback Josh Allen right there. He's definitely a big arm, arguably the most talented quarterback in this draft class right here. And I definitely think that he will be on the Bills and will be starting in the 2019 season. Then, for even if you guys were here for mock draft 1.0, it gets a little bit more spicy over here. And so I got the Cardinals trading up with the Indianapolis Colts, and they will select quarterback Josh Rosen. Josh Rosen is my man. In my mind, he is the #1 ranked quarterback in this draft. That's my opinion about it. I definitely like his intelligence. I definitely think that he has a different personality in which that he will basically differentiate himself from the other quarterbacks and excel. And I definitely think that him in Arizona would definitely be a nice fit with a veteran wide receiver in Larry Fitzgerald. Then at number 7, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will select cornerback Minkah Fitzpatrick. Now, when you play in the NFC South, there's a lot of quarterbacks that tend to sling the ball downfield. Whether it's Drew Brees, Cam Newton, or Matt Ryan, you're going to need a cornerback to help defend against some of their favorite targets here and there. I think Minkah Fitzpatrick is the playmaker the Buccaneers are going to be looking for. Then I got the Oakland Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders. They're going to be trading up for the Bears, and they are essentially going to pick cornerback Jaire Alexander. I know they're only moving up 2 spots in the draft, but hell, some of these teams will just want to move up 1 spot just to get a ton of draft picks right here. Then the Chargers right here, they're going to trade up with the 49ers pick, and the Chargers will select guard Quentin Nelson. Quentin Nelson is a freaking beast right here. And I know guards isn't the most flashy position in the world. However, though, Chargers are going to like to run the ball. They also need an O-line to protect an old Philip Rivers. And with that, I think Quentin Nelson will definitely help out Melvin Gordon right there and make immediate impact for the LA Chargers. And then essentially with the Bears, we're going to swap with the Raiders pick, and they're going to draft cornerback Mike Hughes right here. Mike Hughes is also a nice playmaker right here. He might not be Minkah Fitzpatrick, but he's not terribly far off. Obviously, Fitzpatrick went to a far more well-known school in Alabama, but he would definitely make a good impact right there. And then the Miami Dolphins, with the losing of Ndamukong Suh, they will draft defensive tackle Vita Vea right here. And I definitely think when it comes to it, they want to invest in pass rush right here. And if you have Cameron Wright, Robert Quinn, Vita Vea, that'll be a nice core right there. And I'm not sure how much, or Via, or however you pronounce his name, I'm sorry. But however, he would definitely make an impact, and I definitely think that they're going to value pass rush trying to go after Brady in that division. Next, with the Broncos, since they have swapped picks with essentially the Bills, the Bills' first pick is going to be offensive tackle Mike McGlinchey right here. I definitely think the Broncos need an upgraded offensive line. And I look at the the Case Keenum. Case Keenum, when he was with Minnesota, might have been his best season, but he definitely had a lot of talent around him with Kyle Rudolph, Adam Thielen, even had Dalvin Cook for some time. So I definitely think that they're going to try to invest in the offensive side of the ball. And trust me, for the past 2 years, the defense has been very, very frustrated with the offensive play. They're going to be going offense in the first round. And then the Lions are going to trade up for the 13th pick, which is originally held by the Washington Redskins. And they're going to draft defensive tackle Daron Payne right here. Perfect name for a tackle. Obviously, he might cause a lot of pain for a lot of opposing offenses right there. But I think Daron Payne with Ezekiel Ansah. And plus, the Lions have a younger or a first-time head coach in Matt Patricia. And since he's on the defensive side of the football, I think they're going to draft defense right here. Then the Packers. Packers haven't really had a sustainable defense since 2014. And even before that, their defense has always been shaky. They're going to draft cornerback Denzel Ward. Denzel Ward is definitely more of a man coverage guy, but he should definitely work out well since you got Mike Pettine, and Mike Pettine obviously played a lot of man defenses when he was with the DC for the New York Jets right there. I think Denzel Ward would be a nice fit for the Packers, a nice solid man corner. Kind of similar to a lot of people kind of compare him to a Pac-Man Jones, a little bit more like that Revis kind of guy. Goes more for the pass deflection than the interception. So he's not the most flashy cornerback in the world, but he would definitely make an impact on the football field. Plus, he's from Ohio State, so you can't really go wrong with their defensive back. And then essentially with the Colts trading down for the second time this draft, at the 15th pick, they will select wide receiver Calvin Ridley. NFL.com compared Calvin Ridley to Marvin Harrison. I personally see a little bit more of Torrey Holt in him, but obviously those are not shabby comparisons right there. And when it comes to it with the Colts, since they have Frank Reich as a new head coach, since he's an offensive minded, being the OC for the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, Calvin Ridley and T.Y. Hilton will be a nice duo right there for Andrew Luck. And I think the Colts are going to at least try to make the playoffs in their first season versus what they kind of did not really try to do in the 2017 season after they lost Luck. And then essentially at number 16, the New England Patriots are going to swap their 23rd pick and a couple other picks to move up with the Ravens, and they're going to draft quarterback Lamar Jackson. I think it's real that the Patriots have real interest in Jackson. Obviously, you can see Bill O'Brien, Bill Belichick kind of run similar offensive systems right here. So essentially, what Bill Belichick saw what Deshaun Watson did to his defense, he might want to bring a guy similar to Jackson to kind of go in there and kind of mold it right there. And even Brady on Instagram said that Lamar Jackson the beast. So they're definitely interested in bringing in Lamar Jackson at quarterback, and that's who they got at number 16. Because trust me, guys, Tom Brady will be 41 in August. It's kind of old. You need a quarterback right there. Then essentially at the number 17 pick, the 49ers originally sought pick with the Chargers, and they'll draft edge rusher Davenport. And this would be a nice fit with Solomon Thomas. And when it comes to the 49ers, when they made it to the Super Bowl 5-6 years ago, they had a stout defense right there. They want defensive players. Davenport will play on the edge. He'll be definitely a disruptor right there. He's 6'6", and I think he's almost 300 pounds, almost. And he runs pretty fast. I think he runs a 4.5. So essentially, he's a freaking beast right there. I think he's one of the most underrated prospects in this draft. He's not as close to 300 as they made it sound, but he's not a small guy. He's also big. He honestly should be drafted a little bit higher, but most draft boards have him in the middle of the pack, and that's where I'm going to have him too. Then the Seattle Seahawks are going to select defensive tackle TE Bryan, since they lost Sheldon Richardson, they lost Michael Bennett, and since zone defenses need pass rush, TE Bryan would be a good fit for the Seahawks right here. And I definitely think that since they lost a lot of defense, that they're going to try to recalculate on it. Obviously, they could go with O-line, but there's might be some good offensive linemen that might fall in the draft, like Isaiah Wynn or Billy Price, actually might be second-round picks right here. Then the Dallas Cowboys are going to draft wide receiver DJ Moore. DJ Moore, a lot of comparisons to a little bit of a Tyreek Hill. If you guys remember Lucky Whitehead didn't pan out how the Cowboys hoped so. DJ Moore might bring that thing that they really are looking for, that versatility, the play wide receiver, maybe play a little bit running back, something that they really wanted to have with Whitehead, but they really kind of failed to do. So they bring in DJ Moore, kind of bring that second chance. And also, Dak Prescott's going to need some weapons right there. And some people got them drafting Sutton. The reason why I don't want to say Sutton is because Sutton kind of reminds me a little bit more like Dez Bryant, and I don't think Dez Bryant really worked out with Dak Prescott. I think they're going to draft DJ Moore instead right there. Then I got the Redskins since they swapped pick with the Lions. The Lions trade up to get Tyrone Payne right there. I definitely think that the Redskins will select running back Darius Guice, and he's definitely a big running back, definitely powerful. And I think the Redskins are kind of looking for that power right there at the running back position. They already have a pretty decent running back in Chris Thompson, who seems to be a good scat back. They probably want a little bit more thunder right there. Guys would definitely bring the thunder right there. So I think the Redskins will select a running back right there. And then essentially the Cincinnati Bengals, their offense without Andrew Whitworth is definitely a lot different. I think they're going to draft offensive tackle Colton Miller right here. Definitely will fit what they're trying to do. And plus, the Bengals, if you look at their history, they've always cared about having good offensive tackle play. Obviously, I think they had the greatest tackle of all time at one point. They've had Andrew Whitworth, and Andre Smith. We're on the same line together. Tackle duos are a very interesting thing. If you look at the Philadelphia Eagles, they had a tackle duo of Jason Peters and Lane Johnson. So I think that's something that they kind of want to go with too, since that's kind of their mantra. They're going to draft offensive tackle Colton Miller right here. And then essentially with the original Bills pick, since the Bills traded both their first round picks to trade up to this spot, the Broncos will select tight end Gesicki right here. Now, the interesting about Gesicki is he's kind of a speedster at the tight end position. So essentially, they kind of like that receiving tight end, whether it's Julius Thomas, Jacob Tamme. They have AJ Derby. He might not be great, but at least he has that mobility right there at the tight end position. So they want mobility right there at the tight end. They want another weapon around Case Keenum. Case Keenum thrived with Kyle Rudolph. Put in a tight end like Gesicki right there to get some separation off of a run-stuffing linebacker. I think that's something the Broncos will definitely do. And then essentially the Ravens, this pick, the number 23rd pick in the draft, was originally held by the New England Patriots, but since they traded up in my mock draft for Lamar Jackson, I got the Ravens selecting running back Sony Michel right here. And when it comes to the Baltimore Ravens, the running game is very, very important in John Harbaugh's system. If you look at all the years the Baltimore Ravens made the playoffs under Harbaugh, they had good running attacks. They had quality running games here and there. And if you look at statistically, they even in 2008 when they didn't have a 1,000-yard rusher, they had 2,000 yards rushing. You definitely want to have good rushing numbers. You might as well draft a nice elusive running back in Sony Michel right here. And that might actually lift the Ravens to finally a playoff berth that they have been dying to get for the past 2 seasons. They've been knocking on the door. They've literally been plays away. If they get that running back right there, they actually might have a little bit more dimension to the offense. And plus, that will help out Flacco on the play action level. Then essentially the Carolina Panthers will draft Derwin James. Now, if you remember, they lost Kurt Coleman right there. And obviously, they weren't a big fan of Kurt Coleman. Obviously, he was more of a guy who got picks from him that didn't really hit hard. Derwin James will definitely bring the boom right here. I think the Panthers definitely want to invest a little bit more on defense right here. And they're going to let guys like running back Sam and Christian McCaffrey kind of develop and see how their personnel goes. So they're definitely going to favor defense right here. And plus, in 2015, their defense definitely kept them into the game. So might as well kind of replace Kurt Coleman and maybe even get an upgrade in Derwin James. Then, essentially, the Tennessee Titans will draft tight end H.Hurst right here. I know they got a good tight end, Delaney Walker, but Delaney Walker isn't young. He's 32 years old, believe it or not. And I definitely think that Mike Vrabel, being from the Bill O'Brien, technically from the Bill Belichick tree, that you're going to try to invest in the future. Since tight end kind of plays a big role into their offense, I definitely think they're going to get one right there. And also, it'll be a nice duo right there, since I definitely see as if they're more of going to be a running team with Marcus Mariota. And plus, it will definitely make Mariota's lives very easy in the sense that he's going to essentially be passing to tight ends and running backs a little bit more than some outside wide receivers right here. And H.Hurst can block, so we definitely help out in the run game, which they definitely want to excel in this season. Then essentially the Atlanta Falcons have lost a little bit on their defensive front, and the fact is that Dan Quinn has gone defense on all their picks in the past in his entire tenure here. They're going to draft defensive tackle Hurst. His name's also Hurst. And he would definitely be a good fit because they lost Dontari Poe. This guy can definitely move around a lot. He definitely kind of has that high motor, similar to Poe, where he can kind of stay on the field for a while. And that's why they'd like to bring in Poe right there. And essentially at the number 27th pick of the draft, the New Orleans select linebacker Roquan Smith. Now, a lot of people have Roquan Smith going top 10 or top 15, however you want to say it. I got him following this draft just because he's 6'1", and maybe people want a little bit bigger size at linebacker. Yeah, sure, there have been linebackers who have been on the short side who have excelled at the NFL level, and trust me, I believe that. I think some people thought Ray Lewis was a little bit on the smaller end. Some people thought, I think Mills. I think he played for the Saints and the Panthers. They made a football life on him. Or Sam Mills. That's why I say he was a little bit smaller. And the Saints kind of had Sam Mills at one point. They also had Jonathan Vilma, who was 6'1". If you bring in Roquan Smith right here, he's definitely a silent linebacker. And plus, they tried to draft Reuben Foster last year. They truly did. But the 49ers actually traded in front of them to get that pick right there. And then essentially the Pittsburgh Steelers will draft edge rusher Harold Landry. Now, when it comes to the Steelers, they definitely need some help on defense. Obviously, they could have traded up in the draft to get Darren James. It's something I might be thinking about doing a mock draft 3.0, but come on, guys, it's mock draft 2.0 right here. Got to draft him Harold Landry. If they actually have interest in him, definitely be interesting to have Landry and Watt on one side, on both trying to rush the quarterback right there. And having a nice pass rushing duo would definitely be nice. And sure, they could go after a linebacker like Rashawn Evans to kind of replace that Ryan Shazier role, but I think they're looking for Ryan Shazier to actually come on the field. So they're going to draft on defense again with Harold Landry. And trust me, guys, I know Ben Roethlisberger's old, but there's still some good quarterbacks later on in the draft that they can essentially draft. Then the Jacksonville Jaguars will draft wide receiver Courtland Sutton right here. Blake Bortles needs a big body to throw to. He's not super accurate right here. So essentially, he would definitely want a wide receiver who could catch up and can catch a jump ball and all that. And I think that would be a good combo with Blake Bortles. Blake Bortles is kind of like an Eli Manning, kind of needs a big target or at least a target that gets separation. He's a big target right there. He needs a wide receiver right there to throw to. And plus, they like Blake Bortles. They gave him a 3-year extension. And sure, he's a below-average quarterback, but he gets a little bit too much crap than he actually deserves. Then essentially, the Vikings will draft cornerback Josh Jackson. Now, they eventually lost Terrence Newman. Obviously, they decided not to resign him. Obviously, the man's old as dirt right there. So essentially, they'll draft a young quarterback in Josh Jackson. So you have a nice, good core right there. That's something what the Vikings do. If the Vikings lose a personnel right there or a veteran or older player, they essentially want to replace it with a first-round pick, similar to what they did with Brett Favre. Once they lost Favre, they drafted Ponder. Once they lost Percy Harvin, they drafted Cordero Patterson. So they're essentially looking for Terrence Newman's replacement. Might get even an upgrade in Josh Jackson. No offense, Terrence Newman. Terrence Newman had a very colorful career, however, though he is old. And then the Browns will trade back into the first round, similar to what they did in the last draft. And the New England Patriots will trade out because that's something that they usually do. And they want a winner right here, guys. They want linebacker Rashawn Evans. They want to go after winners right here. They haven't been having much winning success, obviously 0-16. I mean, there's not many wins when you don't win anything. So essentially, drafting linebacker right there that they definitely need. And since they already drafted on offense, there's plenty of offensive talent that they can work with. And there's some offensive linemen that they can get at the 33rd pick in the beginning of the second round. They really want a Billy Price or something. And then, last but not least, Super Bowl champions, Philadelphia Eagles. Brent Selleck's gone. Zach Ertz does not impress me. He's not that great. And essentially, Carson Wentz needs some targets right here. So why don't they draft tight end Dallas Goedert? I think it's Goddard or Goedert. Goddard, kind of like the dog from Jimmy Neutron, back from some of my older fans right there. But essentially, Dallas Goedert would be a good fit for them. He knows how to block. When it comes to it, he's definitely more of a receiving tight end, what they need. He also has some blocking ability, has some good size right here. I think his main pitch is his ability to jump up and catch the football. Now, guys, that's my mock draft right here. If you miss anything, just check in the description below as I said early on in the video. And not only that, guys, I'm going to be live streaming the NFL draft on Thursday. And this is not my last, or I'm planning to, this is not my last mock draft. I think I want to make a mock draft 3.0. Obviously, not every mock draft is going to be perfect. Obviously, there's going to be some misses here and there, unfortunately. And essentially, I'm a little bit concerned about the Raiders and Bears pick. And some of the later round picks, I'm a little bit concerned. Obviously, I think I nailed it in the middle of the draft for the most part and the beginning of the draft. That's what I personally think. Obviously, I'm going to have a little bit of bias of what I do. And also, guys, just for a recommendation, I just want to ask what you want. Do you guys want a fan-made mock draft where essentially I do a live stream tomorrow, and what happens is we will do a live stream where I'll get a bunch of the subscribers on, and I'll ask them, what do you guys want to pick one, pick two, and then definitely we can have the subscribers kind of pick who that they want, and they will collaboratively make a mock draft. And I think that would be a pretty cool idea. But anyway, guys, just let me know right down below in the comment section. See you guys next time. Peace.